Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your daily astrology horoscope for Thursday, November 21st of 2024. Appreciate you all joining me in this video. Trusting you guys are having a wonderful week so far. Let's go ahead and hop into today's video, see what we have going on transit-wise, so you can see how you can be better prepared to navigate these celestial energies. Well, it is the last half day of Scorpio season, so we are coming into Sagittarius season today. That'll be happening in the early part of the afternoon, but we do have the sun that is going to be still be finishing up here in Scorpio for the first half of the day. That moon, of course, over here in Leo, coming off of the conjunction to Mars, and it will make a nice little quincunx over to Venus to start the day, but that will be a rather quick aspect. I would say the main thing today, obviously, is that we're going to see that sun shift into Sagittarius around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's interesting, too, because even though it's going into a fire sign, it actually loses a slight bit of strength based off of the scores and stuff. And that's mainly due to the fact that it is now being disposited by a Jupiter that is retrograde in its detriment. So we're going to see it go from +5 to +3, and we're also going to see Venus actually move down a little bit as well. So I do think it's interesting. It's interesting that the energy kind of slacks just a little bit, at least seemingly, right? So, but just figured I'd go ahead and show you guys that part. But I'll go ahead and move this back here. But yes, we'll see that sun shift into Sag today. This will be happening while the moon's at 16 degrees of Leo, so almost right smack dab in the middle. And we will see also this moon make a nice trine over to Chiron today here at 19 degrees. And it will also trine Mercury, but that's going to be more of going into a Friday aspect. So we get this loose grand fire trine, if you will. It's not quite exact, but it's pretty close. We're gonna feel this, in the later half of the evening going into Friday. So now, of course, if you're on the West Coast, you'll probably feel this on your full Thursday. If you're in Europe, some of you guys are gonna be asleep. If you're in Australia, this is going to be going into your next day, earlier into Friday. So, I think that this Thursday, it's definitely a transitional sort of day. I think it can bring about some, anytime that you get a lot of fire energy, it can be inspiring, it can be motivating us to, invoke our will and to actually move some things pretty awesomely forward. Now, granted, with this one, it's a weird fire trine, right? Because it does trine Chiron, which is definitely dealing with a lot of our insecurities when it comes to who we are and how we express ourselves. It's also going to be trining over to Mercury in Sagittarius, which of course is going to be dealing with, how can we communicate these broad, larger aspects? And, can we hone in on things? Can we actually find like a target per se? Mercury in Sag is I would say it's very like ADHD-ish. It's kind of hard to focus on one thing. Even though Gemini also tends to kind of move around, Gemini is, believe it or not, a little bit more focused than Sag, at least when Mercury is in Gemini, right? But when Mercury is in Sag, it's like these big, larger concepts, and also it's much more concerned about shiny things too. So it's like your attention can be pulled over here and over there and over here and over here and over there, and especially it wants things to look very just, I would say, beautiful. That's not necessarily the word I'm looking for, but definitely, it wants things to, I'm trying to find the right word for this exactly. Like, I guess you could say perfect. Perfection is not necessarily the word either. It's almost like it wants to have like this certain image that everything looks good and nice and jovial, even though it may not always appear that way. So it's definitely a lot of projection kind of energy here too. So, this moon in Leo's, like I said, it's wanting us to, especially from a more emotional aspect, wanting us to really express ourselves and really put ourselves out there. Now that the sun has shifted into Sagittarius, it's being disposited by Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. Remember, it was being disposited by this Pluto that was in Aquarius. Now these energies come more into their sextile. And like I said, it's kind of interesting too, because you're going to get that, as far as like the amount of daylight, whatever like that, these are sort of still in their antesia from zero Sag to zero Aquarius. So, you know, there, and with them being in sextile, it can definitely open up some opportunities here to really establish a sort of vision, if you will, or at least have a vision to kind of see, what is it that you want? What is that you want to manifest? Especially considering the fact that when I think of Aquarius, I do think of a vibration. It's two sine waves on top of each other. So even just the glyph itself, it's a very all the glyphs are very esoteric, but it's a very esoteric glyph that speaks to, how your vibe does attract your tribe, and with this sextile here, it's going to be like, well, where are your beliefs and stuff like that? Do you believe in yourself? Because that is all about beliefs, and belief can be very, very strong. And yes, beliefs and facts are two different things, but belief clearly can be very, very strong. But sometimes we can allow our beliefs to, guide us into some weird areas where we may delude ourselves into believing that that belief is also fact, but this doesn't always synchronize to being fact. So I would say with this sextile, it does give us an opportunity to really see a grander picture, to have a greater vision. But because there's not really a lot of defining energy right here, and by defining I mean more like earthly energy, we have Uranus that's in Taurus, but that's retrograde. We have nothing over here in Virgo, and as far as Capricorn, we have Venus here in Capricorn, right? So these energies are going to hit differently now that Pluto is not in Capricorn anymore and is trining the other Earth energy. So there's not really a lot of defining energy right here. We have a decent amount of air, we have a decent amount of water, and we have a decent amount of fire, but there's not really a lot of stuff to kind of contain that energy and to actually define it. So if you find yourself getting frustrated because you're wanting to have all of these different plans and stuff like that, and maybe the plans aren't just coming through exactly the way that you want them to. We're just in a time period right now, in a space where it's a lot more go with the flow. It's really going to be about your vibe. It really is. And I know that sounds like very like, kind of new agey, new schooly, whatever like that. Your vibe attracts your tribe, but that's just kind of where we are right now. And we have to be able to follow our intuition from that sense, because trying to have all of these different plans and whatever like that and concrete structures and stuff like that, it's going to play out a little bit differently. Like I said, the main energy that we have for that's we have going for us is Venus and Capricorn. And you're only really going to be able to establish some type of structure if you're willing to receive the responsibility of creating that structure or upholding that structure, or if you're able to receive the fact that things may change on a dime. This is about how are you able to adapt. This is a time of adaptability, and especially considering the fact that the sun now is moving into a mutable sign coming from the fixed sign of Scorpio, right? We have to learn how to be able to adapt in these situations. Remember, like I would say, Pisces energy is rather strong right now. Sag energy is going to be a lot stronger now that the sun is there. And yes, we do have, of course, Jupiter over here in Gemini. So we still have, so there's not like a ton of fixed energy. We still have some fixed energy with Mars, Uranus, of course Pluto, which is freshly ingressed into Aquarius. But this is definitely a time now where we have to learn how to adapt to our surroundings, adapt to the changes that are coming, and be okay with the flux of reality, because that's just kind of where we are right now. So I think Thursday can be a positive day, especially with that moon in Leo to help, bring about some courage or some bravery for us to want to move forward and to do the things that we want to do. But also just be wary that things can change on a dime here, especially now that Saturn is coming forward in Pisces and it's moving a little bit slower. And that's the other thing too about it. It's like if we look at the planets that are in fixed energy, Mars is moving slowing down. It's not putting the pedal to the metal. It's slowing down. It's braking. Uranus is retrograde in Taurus and it's in fall there. Pluto just got into Aquarius, so we haven't really gotten much of a taste of what that's going to be. We got a slight bit of taste of what Pluto and Aquarius is going to do, but we haven't gotten much. And now we don't have anything in Scorpio besides some minor asteroids, and and then we have Juno there, which the sun just left that space. So this is not really a time, like I said, of defining things or trying to find all of this structure, This is about learning how to adapt to our surroundings, learning how to adapt to situations, and that's really what's going to determine who succeeds and who finds victory in this time and who doesn't. And honestly, I would say that even if people find so-called, losses during this time or don't feel victorious, that's still all a perception. This is the axis of perception that we're now going to be operating more so on with the sun coming into mutable Sag, right? Card of the day I have is the Five of Coins. Yeah, like I said, I think people are going to be feeling a little bit lost. I think people are going to be feeling like they don't have a structure or a foundation, and feeling like maybe they're jealous of other people and they're looking at what others may have. They may feel like they are on the outside looking in, and I think this is also kind of interesting because now that we are going into Sag season, this is the last fire sign before we come back into the new year when the sun comes into Aries. So this is that last little injection of fire energy, of warmth, and this comes right before winter time. So, and what is this person doing? She's sitting outside of the church with the stained glass, and you can tell that there's warmth coming from inside that church, and they are sitting outside and they're desiring that warmth. And that's what Sag season is. It's like why you think the holidays are around Sagittarius season, because people are coming together when it's cold outside and they're fostering that warmth. People are coming inside. They're trying to, they're cutting the logs to bring inside for the fireplace to stimulate the warmth. The family comes together, and that's really what it's about. It's about that whole jovial energy of coming together. But at the same time, if you're feeling left out, if you're feeling the holiday blues, so to speak, then you can definitely be feeling this Five of Coins energy. But you have to ask yourself, are you ostracizing yourself? You know what I'm saying? Are you not, kind of going out and connecting with other people too? Or are you just kind of sticking to yourself and you're kind of being a bit of a loner? I'll draw another card just because. Yeah, I have the Hangman. Like I said, this is a moment of faith, of going with the flow. Whenever I think of the Hangman, I think of a dandelion of just floating in the wind. And the dandelion can't just dictate where it's going to go. The wind is going to carry the dandelion wherever it goes. But the dandelion has all of the information and DNA within its seed that no matter where it lands, it can sprout forth and grow into something beautiful. So that's the thing that we have to think about, is that sometimes God, universe, whatever you want to call it, I say God, but sometimes God carries us to places and we don't necessarily have much of a say on where we're being carried, but we have within us all of the power, all of the tools to grow no matter where God places us. So that's the way that we kind of have to look at it right now. This is about adapting to our surroundings, adapting to the times, and making the best out of whatever position that God has us in. But that's going to do it for your daily astrology horoscope. I trust that this message will assist you on your journey today. If you did enjoy this, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. And if you'd like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. But as always, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful Thursday, and I'll see you all on the next video. Peace.